Hey Sagittarius, this is your reading for the month of May 2021. The way I like to do this is I start off with visions. Sorry, I have something in my eye right now. Visions I had, or a vision I had during my meditation time for you. And then I go to tarot cards from there and oracle cards as guided. As far as the vision I had for you, it was kind of weird. It's like there's a flame, and I don't know like who was what or anything like that. I don't think it was that concept. I don't think it was about that. I think it was more so a concept situation. But it's the idea that like when you got close to the flames, or close to flame or whatever, you have these like really, you, or again the concept of it, having these really, really wet shoes, like super wet, like basically just went in like a super wet puddle and totally not waterproof type. And as soon as you get near the fire, you take off the wet shoes. And I felt like it's a conductivity thing, or like a, like with like thing. Energetically, it's almost like the idea of when you're near the flames, or when you're connecting with the flame, the wet shoes that you have on are that much more wet seeming and that much more annoying. Whereas before you could just kind of go with it. There can be more to it, but that's kind of just what I was saying with that. And some of you guys might be dealing with balancing elements, balancing parts of yourself and things like that, and realizing in order to delve in, you can't just be halfway. You have to actually, actually delve in wholeheartedly. But again, it could be different. It depends on, what the cards say, what everything else shows. So let's get into the cards. I'm going to use the Chakra Wisdom Tarot deck. Universe, what message do you have for Sagittarius for the month of May? Sagittarius for the month of May, especially in regards to the vision so far. What message does Sagittarius need to hear? Let's do 3. 9 of Wands, 2 of Swords. I don't do reversals, so, and then the Hermit. So 9 of Wands, 2 of Swords, and then the Hermit. What's funny is element-wise, like this is all like, I think reds and yellow here, or orange red. But it's funny because with the vision being the fire situation. So, and then there's fire there. And even though there's like, there's this stuff, but it almost looks like smoke. So like, it's that same concept. And then this one, actually, like that. See the smoke coming off of, like the red smoke coming off of her dress? So again, it's like all of these are about fire and smoke. 9 of Wands is generally a card about, it's kind of being almost there. It's, pushing, trying to push through, you might be getting kind of, it's the energy at least of being kind of not discouraged, but like, okay, when is this happening? I've been working on this for a while now, you know. There's one other element to that card, but I don't know if I'm going to say it yet, depending on what I see. Two of Swords in your head, trying to decide something, trying to see things clearly, but you're in your head, so it's really kind of just like weighing options, but not really clearly. It's like I said, it's in your head, so it's more a mental thing and rather than necessarily physically productive. And then the Hermit is taking a step back. I mean, taking a step back, surveying the situation, looking at the outcome, the possible outcome, looking at what you want to happen, looking at what has happened, but also it's intuitive. It's like going in yourself. I feel like it's interesting because this has that. It feels like, is it like you're, part of you is like, a lot of you are, you have this fire inside you. I mean, your fire signs, obviously Sagittarius, but you have this fire inside you. You have this energy, this potential. And I say potential too, it's like really colorful. I know it's just red, but regardless, it's a really bold color. You know, you're not just waiting around, or not waiting around, but the energy that this is talking about isn't just, you know, waiting around and trying to blend in. At least that's not what it's created for. You know, it's this energy created to like paint the town red, you know, paint, no, I mean, not like that, but you know what I mean? Like paint the town, like do crazy big changes, you know, energetic changes, environment changes. So you have this inside you, and that's what happens. Like when you go in the Hermit mode, it's like you activate, not even activate, you visit that. Some of you may be activating it, but it's in yourself. This is like pushing it out and keep pushing it out and trying to get there. And it's like, and some of you, I feel like you might have this fire, but it's just like the 10 of Wands where it's like, okay, well, why isn't it there yet? Why hasn't this happened? So some of you, like, it's like you're going in and you're like, okay, let me just keep trying. You're trying to convince yourself to keep pushing forward because you know how the potential that you have, you know. And some of you, I mean, Wands, Swords, so this is thoughts and mentality, verbal, and Wands is generally creative, passion. So, I mean, this could be anything. But some of you, this is like, can be a business situation or an idea you're trying to get off the ground, or you're trying to get the gumption to jump through and not jump through. I mean, I said jump through, but yeah, some of you may feel like you're trying to jump through hoops to do it. I really feel like, so it's like, see, she's holding this, right? But she's just like holding it like that. Like, it's not actually like a fully like, not aggressive, but intentional holding. It's just like, oh, we'll just let it hang there. So some of you guys have been so comfortable in this mode, not comfortable, but it's like, you know, the fire that's within you, you know, the, not productivity, but potential that you have in you, that you've kind of just like rested on that. You've just been like, okay, whatever, it's going to come out when it comes out. But even though you're trusting that, or you're being like that, you're looking, you're like, I thought it was going to come out quicker. I thought there was going to be more. Like, what's going on? And then, you know, you revisit in yourself. And it's funny because it's like, this is a light. This isn't, yeah, it's fire. And it's like, okay, well, let me put it to something else. Let me use this light that I have. Let me use this potential that I have to see where I'm going, to see where I need to direct this. Maybe to readjust my course and to look inwards, to use that strength inwards. So a lot of you guys are pulling from in yourselves right now. As far as the vision, let me see. So it's like, yeah, you're readjusting. You know, you've noticed, some of you have noticed that you're working with fire, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you're working with this pure energy, this fire, and your feet are wet. Like, you have fully soaking wet feet from shoes that were wet before, and you're like, we can't have this. This isn't gonna work. This fire's not gonna work. Like, it's almost like you want to be like this energy itself. You want to be able to be like, okay, when I say this is going to light up, this is going to light up. When I say this is going to happen, this is going to happen, because this is the energy that's in me. So therefore it should be able to flow out of me just as easily. That's kind of what it feels like some of you guys, like the, not pressure, but the expectation some of you are putting on yourself. Especially, it's like, okay, so I'm not on fire or anything, but you know, there's like smoke coming. So it's like, it's a whole situation of you're like, I'm sorry, you're like, I almost want to say basting in this, but it's not even that. It's like, it's your element. And you're really coming out with this energy, but you're also learning and deciding that you've been not wishy-washy, but you've been, you know, working with water and fire when you're trying to work just with fire, and thinking, okay, maybe that's going to put the fire out, or maybe I'm not going to be able to gauge the temperature of the fire when I'm dealing with water, you know? So a lot of you are really trying to understand what it is you're working with right now, and readjust. And as far as the card underneath, let me see if there's anything I'm missing. Yeah, a lot of you guys have thought, though, there is a lot of you that have thought, oh, this is going to be easy when you came here, because you're like, I'm super fiery, I'm super energetic, I'm going to be able to do this. And it's like, yeah, but then like when you have this like position where it's like, it's almost like I said, not even intentional, like it's almost like you haven't claimed it yet yourself, because you're like, oh, there's no need to claim, it's just going to happen. And it's like, yeah, it's going to happen, but you have to let the universe know, you have to let yourself know that that's something that you want, that that's something that you're passionate about. So that way when those opportunities come up, you know, you'll be conscious of it. So you'll be able to be like in the mindset to be able to see it, in the heart space to be able to see it. You know, it's kind of like a law of attraction situation where it's like, the more you say what you're going to do, or not what you're going to do, but what you're seeking and what you're wanting, what you're desiring, you know, the more that's going to be, and the more you believe that that's what's coming for you, the more it's going to happen. But even still, it takes holding it. It takes taking that initiative. Even that commitment. Some of you not holding it is a commitment situation, is a situation where you're like, well, I don't need to commit. You know, if this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Why do I need to commit? You know, and it's like, you committing is letting yourself know that this is what's for you. And it's not just this is what's for you, but alternatives are not for you. That you're not going to settle for anything but the best for yourself. You know what I mean? That's the mentality. So it's like when you take the initiative, you're literally saying that you're not going to settle for crumbs, and you're not going to settle for being treated like, I'm not a big sports person, but you know, being put on the sidelines. You're not going to settle for any of that. You're going to settle for the best position for yourself. So literally, like, you're telling yourself that, you're labeling that for your life as you do that. So this is really like, you're learning that right now, that the way you've been has been a little, not necessarily wishy-washy for the sake of wishy-washy, but not committal. And you've seen it kind of a little bit as a game, as, oh, this is so easy. I keep seeing these, like, the reason I say, I mean, there's more to it than that, but I see these, like, candy corns. And it's the idea that, like, yeah, some of you guys have taken it very lightly. And it's good that you've taken it lightly in the sense that you haven't made it bigger and more unachievable in your mind than it is. However, you still need to show the initiative and the intention and the basically claiming it, you know? Not necessarily claiming, that's not the word, but maybe claiming. And she's shedding light in the dark area, so you're in that space right now. So as far as the card that was underneath, this is the card, hold on. She's also looking this way. I mean, she can't see it, but she's looking this way. So she's like, oh, but there's all this energy here. Like, why can't it be happening? And it's like, okay, well, let's do it. Like I said, it's you going through different sides of yourself. I really feel that. Like, I'm trying to see if there's, like, any relationship potentials here. And there could be, but I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to read it as a relationship situation because I don't feel that. I feel this is you working in yourself. And even if you are dealing in a relationship situation, which some of you may be, this is about your inner workings. And this will all affect the relationship anyways. You know, the more you're able to come out of yourself, the more you're able to learn to put initiative into your life, intentionality into your life, then the more vibrant you'll shine in relationships as well. So as far as what this is all about, oh my gosh, the Fool. Yeah, it's like you've been like, okay, I don't need to work that much for it. I'll just walk on my path. It'll work. It'll all work out. And even it's the red too. Like it's the same thing. And it's like, no, it'll all work out. But then what comes will come, and it's not with an intention. Like once you have an intention, you set the intention for what you're seeking, not even seeking, but what you, like I said, what you deserve in your life, or, you know, your boundaries, then those things will come. Then you'll be able to see clearly what to accept and what not to accept. You're not just open there for anything that anyone wants to throw at you. It's kind of like being like in the driver's seat, right? Like not the driver's seat, but like, you know, the main role. I forget who it was. Somebody else had the same. Was it Sagittarius? Or not Sagittarius. Was it Gemini? I feel like it was Gemini. It could have been someone else though. I don't know. Don't take my word for it. But there's a situation where it's like, you can't just like be passive in your own life. Like you have to be the one willing to commit in your life, in, you know, with your role, and also in, like, if you don't take the lead role in your life, someone else will. And I'm not saying that like as a threat. It's just, you're born for that. That's who you are. Your life, your story, no one else plays that story. No one else is that than you. So if you just keep that position open, other things will fill it. And it's like, yes, you need to be open to receive, but you also, there's nothing wrong with setting an intention as to what you desire, and setting an intention to let even you see like who you are and what your values are and what your goals are, and like I said, what you value, what you're passionate about. This is all about seeking your passion, but then it's like, but you haven't really let it know what your passion is. And it's not even just like let it know what your passion is, because some of you guys might be very clear as to what your passion is, but either way, in the way you've taken it and the way you've approached it in yourself, in your life, you've been on the passive side. You've been, you know, wet shoes and dealing with fire and saying that you're fire. And it's like, you can't be fire and, you know, soaking wet shoes. Obviously something's not happening right now, you know? As far as the oracle cards I'm getting to use for you, and some of you guys, if you're not being intentional and saying this is what you stand for, this is what you want, and this is what you'll accept in your life, you're kind of in a risky place, and you're opening yourself up for negative energies and negative circumstances and things like that, because you're not teaching yourself your boundaries. So then, you know, maybe relationships come in or potential suitors come in, and they might not be, you know, for your best, your highest good, but, you know, you're kind of fully wide open, bright energy, yet no actual declaration of what that energy is for. And so therefore, like, it's like the Fool, it's risky, you know, risky situations. It's risky. It's, you know, not, you know, being completely spontaneous, not being, but being spontaneous. But like I said, in this situation, some of you are engaging in risky situations only because you haven't set your boundaries. Like, you have the right energies you're working with, you're doing this, you know, you're true to yourself, but you haven't set the boundaries to even let yourself know what that means. So, hope that's resonating so far. Spirit, God, Universe, what messages do you have for Sagittarius for the month of May, especially in regards to the message and the vision so far? Hold on. And she is, because she's in this full position, she's come to this place of this, hold on, my cat's like trying to get out. She's come to this place of like a false sense of security because of how powerful she is in her life. But it's like, if you're powerful in your life, it's one thing, but if you haven't set the intentions and you haven't been deliberate in what you'll stand for and who you are, you know, that can all blow up, so to speak. And yeah, sorry. See, there's like, those are like roots, but I also see that creates like pathways. So it's like when energies, like it just flows to her. But it's like, that's everything. It's not just what she sets or just what she intends or just what she allows. Spirit, God, Universe, what message do you have for Sagittarius for the month of May in regards to the vision and the messages so far? Flexibility. There you go. It's like if you're doing this, but you're not flexible as to, okay, let me put down my boundaries. It's almost like you've been too flexible and you've lost your sight. Like it's almost like, see how this is like all kind of blending in? Like it's a lack of boundaries, even though there's a tiger there and there's need for boundaries, or there's need to see what's what. It's hard to see everything because you've been so flexible. And flexibility can be good, but there's nothing wrong with having boundaries and declaring or having intention and deciding where your intentions lie for yourself, and also so you're able to communicate those to others. Let me see. I feel like one more card here. And pleasure, yeah. So it's like when you have this flexibility and you're seeking this pleasure, and some of you it is, you're seeking pleasure, because wands can be very, passion, can be, you might be seeking to fill that void or fill, that in yourselves with relationships and connections. And it's like, but if you have all this flexibility so much and then you're seeking this pleasure, it's like, well, what are you really seeking? Because you've been so flexible that you haven't actually set down who you are for yourself or others, or to yourself or others. So I really feel like this is like a warning as to setting your boundaries, but really finding out who you are and not being afraid of not being flexible, not being afraid of saying, okay, well, I'm not just going to say I'm like this or I'm okay with this because it's going to work with everybody, but I need to find out, is this actually for my best interest? It's funny, both are paths, and this one has this tiger and this one has this deer, and it's like, well, which one are you choosing? Either way, if you haven't decided where you stand, there's no, there's no, if you don't know if you're the person that likes this type of environment versus this type of environment, how do you know where to go? As you decide who you are and what you appreciate and what you appreciate for yourself, like how you receive love from other people, how you receive respect, like what speaks to you, then you'll be able to actually follow paths that look like, okay, you know, this is a clear thing, this is for me. Or you'll be able to see when there's red flags clearly more, because you'll have already set down your boundaries for yourself. Because yeah, this is like a path, but there's no knowledge where it goes. It's beautiful, but it's also like, it's funny too, it's like she's shedding that light. It's like, okay. So yeah, it's a matter of going back in yourself and seeing who you are so that you can rework all this. Because you're on the right track with the, I mean, fire and knowing the power and knowing who you are, and that, not who you are, but what you contain in that sense. But that's pretty much all. Like, there's no intention behind it. There's no commitment. There's no actually holding the wand. You know, you're just like, you know, letting it rest on you. And it's like, well, is it your wand, or are you just, it's almost like, you know, the whole saying, oh, don't use your head like a hat rack. Like, is it resting on you, or are you holding it? Because if it's resting on you, you're not an active player. It's more so a matter of the wand's more powerful than you, and you're not really in the picture in that sense. You're just being used, and that's not what you need to be in your life. So I hope that resonated. Let me know either way what did and what didn't. Let me know, you know, like, comment, subscribe. If you already do, that's awesome. Thank you. That really helps me and helps my channel grow. And if you don't, I suggest that you do, therefore, or not therefore, so then you won't miss out on any of my new content. Also, I'm going to be in the description. I'll go ahead and put the decks I used, as well as I'll put a website that gives like a free, it's a free website that lets you look up your chart with your birth information and stuff. So that way you can see, you know, what other videos of mine might pertain to you. Because this is for Sagittarius, but it's not just Sagittarius sun signs. It's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, Mercury. So yeah, or if you have like a stellium, which is multiple planets or houses in Sagittarius. So yeah, excuse me. I'll put that in the description. That way you can look at that. But yeah, let me know, and I will see you next time.